But we will start with Jason Bond.
Many thanks. Good afternoon, Brendan. How are you?
Hi, Jason. Yeah, I sound a bit better than you.
Sorry about that. Conference League, obviously starting it on Thursday with Randers, has been mocked and derided a little bit, the third competition in European competition. How do you now view it after a few weeks, maybe getting yourself acquainted with it? And is it something you can win?
Yeah, absolutely. I think after the Napoli game, Jason, when I was asked, I genuinely hadn't given it any thought whatsoever, because your mindset is always to finish in the Europa League at the highest position and qualify for the next rounds of that. So it wasn't until after the game we realised that we were in this competition. But listen, like most of us, I certainly grew up being aware of 3 European competitions. When I think of the European Cup and UEFA Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup, and that's the competitions that I grew up in. And now that we're in this competition, of course, we want to win it, and we'll give everything we can to do that. So we're looking forward to the challenge of it now, and looking to embrace it.
We heard a little bit from Wilfred Ndidi a little bit earlier. Says the players need to work harder and concentrate better for set pieces and conceding those late goals. Now, you may have seen Ralph Rangnick speaking recently about Manchester United. They've got a similar problem, apart from last night, conceding those late goals in games, suggesting it's an issue with their mentality and players' mindset. Now, do you think it's a similar problem at Leicester? Because he suggested maybe getting a psychologist involved to help the players overcome that issue. Would you perhaps consider a similar approach, or is it not as deep as that?
Listen, for me, defending set pieces is straightforward in terms of it's about organisation and it's about desire and will to head the ball. It's as simple as that. And I think that you go through cycles, of defending them really well, and then something happens and it doesn't quite work, and then you're changing it. And I think that for us, there probably is a little bit of anxiety around it. But you think we're playing against West Ham, I think he'd scored the most set pieces in the league. We defended them really, really well. And then right at the very, very end, we got undone with arguably a goal that shouldn't have counted. But it did count. And of course, it then puts probably a negative feel on what was a really, really good performance where we deserved to win the game. So yeah, it's about that real ruthlessness to get the first contact and that will to defend it. And that's something that, like I said, for a good part of the time in the first 18 months, it wasn't a problem. But it now is a problem for us. But there's lots of work going on, as you've seen, in terms of organisation, in terms of being zonal and then going man to man. But really, you've got to stay concentrated right to the very end, and then hopefully, as I said, that ruthlessness will return to our game.
One final one from me. James Justin, of course, went off injured in that game on Sunday. Now, he played 30 plus minutes, I think, coming on in that substitute game against Spurs a few weeks ago, then started a few games, 90 minutes. Obviously started it on Sunday against West Ham, didn't play the full game. Firstly, what's the latest and how's he looking? And secondly, could more have been done to prevent that injury?
It's in hindsight, Jason, of course. It's he's a young guy who's a real supernatural athlete, but we're also wary that he's coming back from a long-term injury. His plan and the feeling also from him was that he felt good and felt strong. And the plan, ironically, was to play him at the weekend, give Luke a rest, because he's also he's a 20-year-old guy who, he's our youngest defender as such, but yet he's been thrust into it most. So we'll have to try and find a place for him to come out. So the plan was to give him a breather and play the 2 older ones, and then for JJ not to play on Thursday. But unfortunately, he's come off. He's probably going to be a couple of weeks. Thankfully, it's not too serious, but a slight strain in there. So he'll miss a couple of weeks.
Cheers. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you.
Okay, Adam Whitty.
Hi, Brendan. How are you doing?
Hi, Adam. Yeah, very good. Thanks.
Good. Good. I was wondering, just off the back of what you were talking about in terms of this competition, do you think this is your best opportunity to get into the Europa League, into European competition this season?
No, I think that the challenge, obviously, we can finish in the top 7. We have an opportunity to still do that. So we want to finish the league as high as we possibly can, and if we show the levels that we of the second half and the latter part of the first half of the weekend, then with returning players, I believe that we can have a really positive end to the season in terms of the league. And of course, in this competition, you're in it to try and win it. That's the idea. So, and whichever one of those two brings European football, that has always been our aim at the beginning of each season, to be in Europe.
My Danish isn't possibly what it could be, but so forgive me for the pronunciation. But what have you made of Randers, the team that's visiting you this weekend? Oh, sorry, tomorrow.
Yeah, well, a team that done extremely well to get into the competition. You think in their history they've won the domestic competition twice, and obviously back in 2021, which has enabled them to be in the European competition. So they play 4-4-2. The very honest team. They've got quality at the front end of the field. The wingers come inside and try to have the overloads on the inside. So it's a game that you have to be at your best in a European competition to go through. So it's the first leg at home. We want to again continue with the really positive elements of our game in the second half. Continue with that and see if we can take a lead over to Denmark next week.
And one more, if I may. I was just interested in your thoughts on the removal of away goals from European or having an impact from knockout European football. It's very interesting watching the Real Madrid PSG game last night. It seemed to me, anyway, to have an impact on the way that the game is played. Do you have an impact? Do you have any thoughts on what you think that will do to the way that ties are played, two-legged ties, the fact that away goals don't count in the way that they have done in previous years and what we've got used to?
No, not really. I think each coach goes in to win the game, and I don't overthink it. We look to go into tomorrow's game and win the game, and when we go to Denmark, we'll look to win the game, and then of course, what happens after that, we shall see.
Brilliant, Brendan. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Jordan?
Hi, Brendan. Can you hear me?
I can, Jordan, yeah.
Can I just ask, I think Wesley Fofana you'd scheduled him in to start full training this week. Is that the case? Is he training with the group now?
He starts Friday.
And is there any kind of a feeling of how long it might take before he might be able to play in games?
No.
Has the exit from the FA Cup perhaps made this competition more important for you?
No. Every competition is important that we're in, whether it's the league, whatever the cups. So disappointed to come out of the FA Cup, but look at this year as a real positive challenge for us now, and we take on the challenge of this, and it's no more or less important. It's an important competition for us. You are one of the favourites to win it. Does that add any extra pressure at all? No, not at all. We don't really think along that line. It's there's other really good teams that will be in it, so we will have to fight and be at our very best. But it's a great opportunity to go deep into European competition and again extend the experience of our players, and especially a lot of the young players. So yes, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, that development over these coming months. Thanks very much. Best of luck tomorrow. Cheers, Jordan.
Okay, Jonas Dalgaard, please.
Hi, Brendan. I'm Jonas from Danish media. Hi. You brought in Yannick Vestergaard in the summer. He's been on the bench most lately. Can you tell us more about his position in the Leicester squad and why he hasn't been playing that much? Yes, Yannick came in here with a specific role late on.
in the window when we needed experience. When we lost Wesley Fofana late to injury. So yeah, he'd obviously come in and he wasn't quite fit, Yannick, in terms of his latter stages at Southampton. He'd picked up an injury, and then he had issues when he first came in here. So it's been a difficult numbers of months for him because he was actually playing. In fairness to Yannick, he actually put himself out there to play when he wasn't quite physically fit and ready. But what he's done over these last numbers of weeks is got himself into really good physical shape and condition. And of course, we have other players that have been playing in his position, but he's a top-class professional. He's a good guy. He's very honest with his game. And if he's ever asked upon to come in and play, then he's ready to do that.
Thank you. Just one more question about tomorrow. You already talked about the set pieces. Randers is quite good on the offensive set pieces as well. Is that something you've been preparing for in a bigger matter for this game?
No, I think every game for us is set pieces is very, very important. The Premier League equally as well. So we understand the threats of every team that we play. For us, it's about like I said, keeping that organisation, but having that mentality and desire to defend it, and that's important. So this, like every game, you have to be concentrated when in that static position, and that's something that we hope to be able to do.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, Jonas. Thank you.
Okay, Phil Medlicott, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Phil.
Just going back to the team news front, I just wanted to check quickly that other than James Justin, there wasn't anything new injury-wise that's come since the West Ham game.
No, nothing new. Ricardo Pereira won't play. As part of his plan, he'll be. He's still in recovery, and we'll get him ready for the weekend. But apart from that, no new injury news.
And we said about Fofana returning to training at the end of this week. Is there any update at all on how soon Jamie Vardy might be doing that, or when he might be back available for matches?
No, he's working very well. He's probably a couple of weeks away, 10 days to 2 weeks. So he's out on the field, he's running, he's working, and he's looking very sharp. So hopefully soon.
One other thing to mention about Randers is obviously they've not been playing competitive matches since the turn of the year. How much do you sort of see that potentially being a factor or playing a role when you're taking one of these two matches?
Yeah, I've had experience of that. Playing against both sets. When I was at Celtic, we were playing teams that were sort of midway through their season, and then sometimes teams that are on the break, like tomorrow. So yeah, they've obviously gone away. You can only really concentrate on your own self. They've obviously had the break, gone away, played some games. They've still been playing games in their off season, so we've seen that. So I don't think it'll impact too much. It's sometimes more whenever it's the beginning of the season, when you play in qualification games, and you might be in your pre-season, but if you're playing sometimes a team that are halfway through or 20 odd games into their season, and you actually really see the difference from a physical perspective. This, I don't think there'll be too much of a difference.
Cheers.
Thanks, Phil.
Graham Bryce.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Graham.
You're definitely feeling better than me. I feel shocking today. Anyway, Wilfred Ndidi's making his 200th appearance if he plays tomorrow. Just how important is he to you and building future teams around him?
Yeah, he's been a really, really, really important player. Certainly, my time here, for his role, and you see the importance that I give to him in the team, and in terms of how he protects the others. So it's obviously a very young team at the moment as well. So his experience and physicality obviously helps those players. So now he's been absolutely brilliant. Wherever I've asked him to play, whatever role, whether it's centre half or in midfield, he gives us a great physicality. And there's still lots of areas of his game that he'll improve on. But but I can't speak highly enough of him. He's a great guy. He trains virtually every day, comes in with a joy to train and work well and learn. And every single game he gives his all. And he's been first class in my time here.
He seems very settled. He's got family here and he's been doing a business course in the past. But is that the type of guy then that you can see as a bedrock of what you want to build here for the future? Or because he's a good player and there's tons of speculation about him, do you have to accept that good players attract interest and sometimes you can use those players to rebuild a squad?
It's both of those things that you've just said. It's how it works, isn't it? A player of that quality and that mentality, of course, you want to always keep. But when you have that player, he will always attract interest. So yeah, but he seems very settled here. I know that he's moved into a new house and over this last period, and yeah, he seems very, very happy. So yeah, as I said, he's a pleasure to work with. Good guy, and hopefully he can be around the club for many years.
And just last one for me, nice when he's getting talked about £50 million plus. That's not bad to have in your squad.
Sorry, I didn't see that. What's that?
I'm saying that he's been rated around 50 million plus. It must be nice to have a player worth that in your squad.
Oh, he's worth much more than that.
I was hoping you'd say that. Good luck tomorrow.
Good lad. Thanks, Graham.
Cheers.
James Nursey, please.
Hi, Brendan. Good afternoon.
Hi, James.
Hi. You referenced the younger players earlier. I might have misconstrued it, but are you suggesting that perhaps this competition could be a good opportunity to give some of your talented young players some more game time?
Well, I don't know how much younger we can go. I think the team is a young team, so no, this is a competition where the senior squad or the squad who's playing at the moment will feature.
Fine, because I know you got some of the sort of teenagers, haven't you, who've been in and around the squad coming off the bench in some matches. But I suppose what you're saying there, that's not going to change significantly.
Oh, no. Those players are out on loan. The guys have been coming off the bench. Casey McAteer and Vontae, and those guys are out and getting experience on loan.
No more questions. Okay, Thomas Norgard, please. Thomas, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Okay, we'll go to Martin Hardy and then we'll come back to you, Thomas, if you get your audio sorted.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Martin.
Hope you're okay. It feels like some small details have gone against you this season. Does it feel that way to you? And does it feel like a difficult spell personally? And what have you got in your locker from your past that helps you get through this kind of time?
Yeah, I think from a football perspective, Martin, there's been quite a few instances where those sort of moments have gone against us, and listen, of course, the factors around injuries and stuff like that, and of course that's natural when you don't have the level of players that's missing for us. Then of course that will affect your performance. But I was much more enthused after the game at the weekend because I think that we showed a lot of the elements in that second half that has made us successful relatively in this last few years. Our pressing, the aggression, that counter pressing, the speed of our game, playing forward, being direct with our football and scoring really good goals and all with a real good energy. And when we play like that, you sense the crowd, the positivity, and then it's a great atmosphere to play in. When you don't and you lose games, we have to accept that you're going to be criticised, and that's the nature of football, So, and especially how this team have done over a consistent period. So you have to accept that. From a personal reason, or from a perspective, I always tend to stay calm and try to stay in control of everything. I've never really been one where my mood shifts based on what other people will write or say. And unfortunately now I'm experienced enough to regulate whatever pressure is there. There's always pressure in football, but none more so than you put on yourself. And every coach will tell you that, because you want to win, you want to be the best that you can be with the players that you have at your disposal. So that doesn't change. But I'm very focused on the football. From a personal perspective, it's absolutely fine. Like I said, you learn to regulate that. I think when you're younger as a coach and manager, you're not reading so much, listening to much. If I'm reading my local paper that's putting out polls to say whether I should be staying as a manager or not, then of course it might affect me. But I stay calm, stay in control, and just enjoy. I love working with the players here. I love the people at the club. And that's all I'll continue to do, and do that with a smile and enjoyment until someone tells me differently. And if they do, I'll have done my very, very best with the resources that I have, and then I'll move on. But until then, I have a big energy for the team, for the club, and for my contract here.
Do you feel, thanks for that honesty, do you think there's less patience in the game these days? And do you think you have a body of work at Leicester now that kind of commands a bit more time?
Well, listen, that was the past. I think the nature of football now, as you say, Martin, there isn't so much time. It wasn't that long ago that you're deemed an elite manager and haven't won the FA Cup and all these things, and then very quickly you're not. But I get that. That's the game. What's important to me in life is to do your very best. I feel I'm doing that here with what we have, and together we've made some great steps on our journey together. It's been a challenging season. There's no getting away from that. So, but I'll just continue to be positive and develop the players that are here and the ones that are fit and available, and then try and get the other ones back. And once we get them back and we get them all together, then I think we see a different team again.
And sorry, last one. Did you feel that sting on the night in Napoli when it was so close twice to you going through with a good result, whereas it turns on its head through two small moments and you end up where we are now?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of our game. But I think it's how the season has been for us, really. We have to be honest. We've attacked well. Goal scoring numbers are up there, but with some of the top teams, but we haven't defended well enough collectively. Either been intense enough, or in certain moments we haven't defended our box well enough as a team. So that's something we have to accept, but something that we have to find solutions for. And like I say, we'll continue to work those.
Thanks, Brendan. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, Thomas, do you want to give it another go?
Can you hear me? No?
Yes, I can hear you now, yeah.
All right. Hi, Mr. Rodgers. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You have conceded quite a few goals this season, and there's been some criticism concerning your defense and even Kasper Schmeichel. Can you put some words on Kasper Schmeichel's meaning and his performances this season?
Yeah, well, firstly, it's defending is collective. It's not just the defence and the goalkeeper. Our collective intensity hasn't been at our best level, and of course, when that's not at the highest level, then you can give away more opportunities. So for us, there's been lots of goals where we can very easily analyse, especially from set pieces, where we haven't been good enough in that moment, whatever the organisation has been. Yeah, in terms of Kasper is a very important member of the squad here. He's been here for a number of years. He's a fantastic shot stop and keeper. You know the performances you'll have seen for Denmark as well. He's a very important player and has been here for a number of years. Thanks, Thomas.
Okay, if there's no more hands, we'll finish with Jonas. Did you have another question?
Yeah. Hi, Brendan again.
Hi, Jonas.
It's also about Kasper. He was talking about him maybe trying out a new club after his contract is out. Can you put some words in Leicester's position? Do you see him continue in Leicester in 1.5 years, and with his age reaching 35?
Yeah, I suppose Kasper's getting to that stage of his career. He'll want to play as long as he can. So knowing him and knowing his mentality and knowing the guys that he's looked up to in his career, he'll want to play as long as he can. And but I think it's pretty open. I think Kasper's got this year and another year. It all depends really on the player and the sit down and an honest conversation, because sometimes I've worked with players at that latter part of their career. They may want something fresh, something new, a new challenge. But at this moment in time, he's here. He's a very important player for us and will continue to be. And like I said, he's been a joy to work with in my time here. So, but there'll always be an open. Our relationship is very open and very honest, and we communicate well. So I think if there's ever anything later on down the line, it's something that him and I will speak about.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jonas.
Perfect. If there's no more hands, we'll end it there. Thanks, everybody.
All the best.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.
Good luck.